Yo. Okay. How does fade to... Okay, it's a transition with a fade. Got it. So one issue is I can't do transitions when I've got this on my second monitor. So let me see if I can move the scenes out so that I can get them. There we go. And then shrink that, move it over here. Chat probably here. And documents here. I am in Thailand. Let's see. So yeah. How's my audio, by the way? Are you able to hear me clearly? Oh, I can shrink it more on the second one. Maybe I didn't need to move the scenes out. Is there any way to pop these back in? Damn it. Thailand can be nice, but I don't recommend living here. Awesome. That's what I needed to know. And then, let's see. I'm going to open a document here. And you tell me how legible that is. Is this text even readable? Probably not. It's quite small. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's difficult. Also, the bit rate. How's the bit rate in terms of like, are you getting lots of artifacts or anything like that? If I wave my hands, does things fall apart? I've upped it to 7,000, so it should be good in theory. No? Yeah. Let me see here. Supplier form. 9. No one needs to see that shit. Warcraft 1, mission outline, those are all good. Let's contract. Blizz timeline of fuckery. Oh, that'll be fun. Oh boy. Trying to decide what exactly I'm willing to show. This probably names too many names. Probably can't show that one. We'll put this in a new folder called Dangerous. Those are the deliverables. And these are old documents. Goblin ideas. Alchemist touchstone, yeah. These are just old hero ideas. I don't think any of these made it into the game. Oh yeah, quest descriptions. These are good. I think these are all verbatim what's ended up in the game. Yeah, top secret. Not anymore. All of these are far out of NDA. These ones a little more questionable. But since Reforged shipped, technically should be okay because it's now a shipped game, even if these documents were not used for it. That's it. All right, let me try a couple transition things. Oh, that's fucking hideous. Yeah, that's not good. That won't look good. Here, I'll just show you what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get these to look correct. But I'm pretty sure this is one of those ones where if you do too much with it, it'll implode. Transform. Fit the screen? That doesn't even work. What a mess. No one does widescreen format screens for this kind of stuff. I think I would have to get them specially made. Ugh. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Let's just center this one. Center. And vertically. No? Oh, it is centered. Oh, because it's... yeah, that's correct. Ask Dave anything about Blizzard's early days pre-WoW release. Yep. Because that's when I was there. So if you ask me anything after that, I didn't work there. I had one contract with them. I wasn't in the studio. I'll talk about the interactions in terms of what that contract was about and stuff, but beyond that, not much point because I wasn't in the studio, so I can't speak to anything concerning the state of things after. But what I wanted to get clear, or what I will be talking about tomorrow, is predominantly this idea that Blizzard was super great and now it's super awful. It wasn't. There were always cracks in the frame, and the reasoning for why things are bad now are different than people think. I was salaried when I was there. Well, actually, I started in QA. When I was in QA, I was hourly, and then when I transitioned to level design, I became salaried. Or actually, I think my last few months in QA were salaried as well. Is that right? No, that's not right. No, I wasn't clocking in anymore. Yeah, so I was salaried for a couple months and then transitioned to level design, and then I was totally wage slaved. Let's see. What other transition things do I need to look at here? What does this do? Oh, that doesn't. Nothing, as far as I can tell. Talkie head. And there's the end stream. And then something should go wrong. I guess I can throw this up. Oh no, Blizzard paid shit. So I think my salary when I was in QA, I started on an hourly wage of like $6.50 an hour, and I think by the time I went to level design, I was at $8 an hour. And then when I was in level design, I think they started me at $45,000 a year, which, mind you, is a decent salary in some places, but in California, in Irvine, where apartments were like starting at $800 at the time and often went up to $1,000. Not so great. And, with taxes and everything, I remember it was right before I got moved up to level design. It was while I was still in QA that I went to get a haircut and realized that I was on my last $20. So, and what's funny is then I learned all these habits to save money, which is basically like, wearing shirts until they're worn thin all the way through. And I actually got reprimanded. I didn't get reprimanded for it, but there was some commentary of like, why are you wearing these shitty shirts? It's like, pay me enough. And then they brought me a bunch of free t-shirts, free Blizzard t-shirts. But unfortunately, most of the Blizzard t-shirts had this thing where they're tight around the neck, and it really bothered me. It would like make me itch, and I couldn't think. I'd just be pulling at my neck all day. So it didn't really work. I lived with initially I lived with three other dudes in a 2-bedroom, and then at one point I moved in with 2 girls in a 2-bedroom. So moving on up, one of the girls could afford to pay more of the rent, so they got the nicer room. Actually, I guess they didn't get the nicer room. Oh, she wanted the separate bathroom so that her and her friend could, like, one could be in the bedroom and one could use the bathroom. Whereas my bathroom was contained. I guess they didn't want to interact with that. And I don't blame them, All right, well, let's see. Unless there's any questions, I'm gonna try This looks so bad, though. I wish it were centered at least. If it were at least centered, I wouldn't feel so bad about it. It's not going to do anything, is it? How does this one work, then? Why is that one correct? Oh, you know what it is? I have to fix it in Stream Elements, that's why. Well, I left before Activision and Blizzard merged. I was there while Vivendi was in charge, and prior to that, it was Sentence Software. I'm told that bonuses were reduced and that salaries went up after Activision bought in, but I can't confirm anything like that because people at Blizzard are very tight-lipped about what they make. Like, it's an American thing where you just don't talk about your stuff, about what you make.
Like, can't get words out that like this shit's serious.
Oh, I was watching Hot Ones. Don't mind that. Let's see here. Where's the transition screens? Stream Elements. Log in with YouTube. Yeah, the Activision merger was after I left, so I don't. All I know is what happened with my individual contract in terms of Yes, it is bot agreed. Mike Morheim was pretty approachable, other than the stigma of like, oh God, do you really want to be on the radar of the top guy? Because I remember while I was in QA, there was one guy who like literally in QA who dropped to his knees when Mike Morheim was going by. He's like, "Oh, I worship you," and it made him so uncomfortable that the QA head, the manager of QA, fired him like the next day. So, you got to be careful when you interact with the top dogs. That one didn't upset me. That guy wasn't mature enough to be working there. That was one of the things. Like, loving games is one thing, but maturity is another. But Mike Morheim actually helped me with the Culling of Stratholme. He was because my level was so trigger happy. He helped fix the bugs, which was super cool. So even then, he was still coding. Oh, don't worry, this isn't the final thing. It's tomorrow around the same time, though. So be prepared to stay up a little later tomorrow, maybe. But I just wanted to practice. I'm practicing. Because last time I tried to do a live stream like this, shit went to hell. Because OBS wanted an update, which, by the way, it did today. So I'm super glad I did this. And how the hell do I get this thing back onto this board here? This is annoying. Reset? No. What? Oh, shit. Reset docs? What's that going to do? That's not going to help. It has been a long time coming. I keep delaying it. And I wanted to just do this practice thing to make sure that all the basics are out of the way so that I don't F up too much. But again, this is not the final. This is the practice run. There's some goo on my screen. Maybe I sneezed too hard. Ugh, gross. Did I know the milk drinker? You mean cow milker? Yeah. Cow milker was the guy who walked me out when I was let go. Yeah, go to sleep. Don't worry. I'm just shooting the shit while I figure out some stuff. I'll get into it tomorrow with documentation and stuff, and everything that was going on while I was working there. How often was turnover during the days of development on Warcraft 3 Diablo 2, or was staff retention good? When something was deep in development, staff retention was high because no one wanted to fire anyone. So if you got fired while something big was in development, you really fucked up. Most of the layoffs came at the end of any big thing. So at the end of Diablo 2, there was a bunch of layoffs. At the end of Warcraft 3, there was a bunch of layoffs. At the end of The Frozen Throne, there was a bunch of layoffs. And at the end of WoW, there was mass layoffs. Yeah, they give you the fucking cardboard box and everything. It's such an American thing. I don't know if you've watched The Office. I don't know if did they even do an episode where someone got fired? I don't think anyone ever got fired on that show. But yeah, they literally like give you a box and you have to empty out your desk while they watch. I mean, I guess they didn't do that for me. And also I had so much stuff that they were like, literally, the HR lady was like, you can come back tomorrow. And I'm like, no, I'm never setting foot in here again. That's how pissed off I was. And yeah, being walked out is standard for all corporate jobs in America. They have zero trust of employees. It's really, really disgusting how they treat people. It's in Hollywood movies for a reason. It's because it's commonplace in America. It literally is like the corporation owns you, and the trust is so damn low. It's really gross. And what makes it worse is like when you see it happen to someone else, you're always like, damn, that sucks. And the instinct is to avoid their gaze and like pretend you didn't see it happen or something. But I would always make a point to like make eye contact and go, hey, it was nice working with you. And I don't know if it makes them feel better or worse. I would think it would make them feel better. I would feel better if people did that for me. But when I was laid off, everyone avoided their gaze and stuck their heads down. Didn't know how to react. Waited till a few of them came out after the fact to say goodbye. So that was nice, but it hurts more when they're ignoring you while you're in the office. It's like your persona non grata. It's very much an ingrained American corporate thing. Did I get a copy of the games I worked on after development? Yeah. Yeah, we got copies of all our games. You worked in a factory and the reason they walk you out is because of insurance liabilities? Right, if you do something on your way out, maybe you're not covered by insurance or something, or maybe it's part of the insurance. Problem you're running into while trying to break into the industry is that a lot of companies expect an unrealistic amount of fandom and loyalty, even outsourced studios. Totally agree with that. You don't need to be a huge fan of the game or whatever, the IP, to do a good job. However, I also understand the other side of it, which is that if you have a choice between two artists who are equally good and one of them is a huge fan and the other one is not, you lean towards the fan because they're going to really put their all into it. Or at least that's the assumption. So, you know what? Just fake the fandom. Do a little research before you go in. Go, I really like this and this thing that you did, and I enjoyed playing this. And make sure you play it a little bit. It's a little extra research, but it doesn't hurt and could secure you the job versus not securing the job. At least because there's all the heavy equipment and machinery. Right. That makes sense for a factory, because if someone like throws a wrench into the spanner or whatever, throws a wrench into the works on their way out, that's going to be a huge insurance issue and shut down the factory for days. And that's something that a bitter employee might do on their way out. In a corporate environment, I really don't see the point. I guess they could like grab documents that they're not supposed to have. That's probably what it's for. But in game development, everything's digital anyway, so unless I'm taking a computer hard drive out, I don't see what would be the big deal. Are developers actually paid for overtime or crunch? Was that actually in effect for all Blizzard games during your time there? No. So one of the things about California in particular and Blizzard is that you're considered a special type of worker, or at least they documented us that way, such that they didn't have to pay overtime or crunch or anything if they didn't want to. So the only time I got overtime was when I was in quality assurance and making like $6 to $8 an hour. Then you would get overtime pay because you were clocking your hours, and so legally they had to pay that. As soon as you were salaried, they didn't pay any extra overtime. You were basically working for the free dinner. But it wasn't a free dinner. It was, your pay for that extra time, which is ridiculous. It really is. Sometimes they would give us extra vacation days for overtime, but it was inconsistent and rare. Last office job you did, they didn't even bother to call you in to clean your desk. They just threw everything away. Wow. That's a dick move. I would think that's illegal. I guess it depends on the state, though. You can sue the company because you got injured on site as a non-employee. Aha! Okay, that makes sense for the insurance reason. Most game dev jobs are salary. Yes, correct. And salary, there's a way to work around having to pay any overtime. Though in some states, you legally do have to pay overtime. But then, like California, you legally do have to pay overtime, except if you're a special worker. and they designated us special workers because we were working in a special industry as like programmers and stuff. But I wasn't a programmer, so how did that work? You know, get that flash drive, dude. Copy and release GTA. Yeah, exactly. Contractor? I'm not sure what you're asking. Contractor? I am now, or a freelancer, I suppose. What am I playing? Warframe. I'm playing fucking Warframe still. And Vampire Survivors, because they just did a big update, and I've been enjoying it. I was going to play more Red Dead Redemption 2, but I feel guilty if I play it without live streaming it. So I got to do that. Do I think there's going to be a move away from California to other states for game development? Already is. Texas is the big one right now. A lot of the game dev studios moved to Texas. And I think that there's a case to be made for game studios in particular to just be wherever you want. Who cares? Because 90% of your interactions are through emails, online, or can be done through video conferencing. As long as wherever you're living has a good internet connection, there's no reason that you should have to be in some particular state or in some particular office building anymore. Why did Blizzard agree to merge with Activision in the first place? Could they have said no? Yeah, they could have said no. Mike Morhaime could have said no, but Mike Morhaime and Bobby Kotick sat down and had a meeting, and apparently it went very well because Mike Morhaime came out of it believing that Bobby Kotick had the best interests of Blizzard at heart, and he couldn't have been more wrong. But he felt good about it at the time, and then right after Reforged, or right before Reforged was like in full production, he basically said, I'm quitting, and gave his notice and transitioned out. So that should tell you a lot. I'll go into that in detail probably tomorrow. Game devs are special because they can work 80-hour weeks. Yeah, kinda. Oh, am I blocking the chat? I am. Let's move that up. Why did no one tell me? If you see anything wrong, let me know. I kind of feel like... I'm going to move this to the other side. Let's move this to the top. Drag this. I want my chatting ability here so you can't see my typos. Is there a way to increase this font? Can they really say no? Don't they owe it to the shareholders to maximize profit? Well, could they have really said no? I think they could have, but I don't know that it would have mattered because it was really Vivendi's choice. And then, but the question would have been, would Activision have been a hostile, in effect, takeover of Blizzard? So it was in everyone's best interest that Blizzard be preserved intact, and I think that's what Mike Morhaime was assured of. And obviously didn't happen because as soon as the purchase was complete, I believe it was Kotick who was installing Activision people at various points in the studio. So, how often did I engage with the team at Blizzard North? Were they in a separate city studio? Did you do anything on Diablo 2? I was quality assurance for Diablo 2. I was the lead Mac tester for Diablo 2. I interacted with Blizzard North very limited capacity in terms of I would write bugs and then they would respond to them and ask questions. If there was a big bug, they would call me. But mostly I was interacting with the Macintosh guys who were porting Diablo 2 to the Mac, and they were mostly in the studio at Blizzard South, or Blizzard proper. Blizzard North was in a different studio entirely. They were Condor before they got purchased by Blizzard. Is there anyone from when you were around Blizzard still there? Yes, lots of people. Blizzard employees are very, very, very loyal. And other than a few who had... other than a few who were problematic, most of them are still there. And a lot of them are really good developers and making really good stuff still. Since you mentioned Warframe, what's your favorite frame and weapon? I really like the Tiburon Prime right now. I don't know why, but there's something about like being able to transition between the burst and the single shot, and then it's almost like a limited sniper rifle kind of situation. I really like that one. In terms of frames, I've always liked Loki just because I have permanent invisibility at this point with all the duration boosts. But other than that, I'm using Octavia primarily just because the AoE is so stupid ridiculous that there's nothing she can't do, and is also invisible all the time. Let's see. Do you keep in touch with Metzen? And if so, do you know how he feels about Chronicle being decanonized after marketing it as the be-all end-all lore WoW encyclopedia? I do somewhat keep in touch with Metzen. We're friends on Facebook, and I keep tabs on his project. He's made a RPG, which by the way, I should be getting the book soon. A tabletop RPG, by the way. Which one is it? Hi, I'm live. I'm live? Hi. Yeah. Just warning people, because some people here are not comfortable being on camera. So. Ouroboros. Ouroboros Coils of the Serpent. I have not received it yet, but I should get it soon. But it's the Law Brand World Book that he's done for 5e. So if you're interested in that, he must have his own website for this, right? Law Brand? No, probably not. No, that's not it. I don't know. Or Chief Gaming, maybe that's it? No, not helpful. All right, whatever. Anyways, you can go to Kickstarter and check it out. Where? Oh shit, I lost track. I don't know how he feels about Chronicle being canonized. He's very... How would you say it? He's very non-expressive of his emotions. Even in a personal setting. How's that? Hi Dave, I'm making a 2D RTS with tile sets that are similar to Warcraft 2. Do you happen to know how the Fog of War was implemented in that game? Is it a grid system or something more elaborate? I'm in StarCraft? Or in Warcraft 2? In Warcraft 2, I believe it is a tile. It is a tile system with like some cloudy edges. But I'm definitely not the person to ask that. I'm not sure. I wasn't there for Warcraft 2's development. The first game that was in development while I was there was Warcraft 2 BattleNet Edition, but that's not the same thing. Or actually, it was Macintosh versions of StarCraft and Diablo 1. So probably not the best person to answer that question. But there are plenty of solutions for Cloud of War kind of stuff. I wondered if the old guard really enjoy how WoW had been going. They obviously have to publicly say yes, but what about privately? Well, yeah, Sammy is still there. Chris Metzen's not, obviously. Brave browser based. Yeah, Brave. Gotta use Brave. All right. Okay. I think that's all we got. So, Tiburon Prime represent great. Warcraft 2 Battle Initiative is more or less a simple RM job from what I recall. Yeah, it was more for the BattleNet to integrate BattleNet to it. From Warcraft 3 onward, why did Blizzard put so much effort into humanizing the orcs and the Horde in general? Prior to that, orcs were some of the evilest and ugliest monsters around. Because it was just sort of Chris's take on the orcs as a more tribalistic, kind of shamanistic group. Thrall being the epitome of that. Very empathetic, very much in tune with the earth spirits. Kind of a Native American kind of take. And given they were colonized initially and Thrall was a slave and that kind of thing. I guess they weren't really colonized, but they were definitely taken as slaves. But that was post-War One, where I guess in canon, in War One, the humans won, and then in War Two, the orcs lost again. The orcs never win. Did they win in War One? Christ, I can't remember any of that story anymore. I don't think it was even consistent, to be honest. And yeah, I think the trope of the evil orc, he wanted to break away from that a little bit, sort of distinguish Warcraft from Tolkien. Hey, what? How did that work? Oh, it's just a double click. Okay, learn something new every day. Yeah, technically the orcs colonized because they were from other planets. I don't think Draenor was even their homeworld, was it? You had a Mac growing up, so you're very grateful for the Mac versions of D2, War 2, B&E, and Brood War. Thanks for the answer, even if you're not certain. Yeah, no problem. I don't mind speculating, but I'll always let you know when I am speculating as opposed to... They burned Stormwind? Okay, so the orcs won War 1. War 1 was canon. Okay. And then War 2 they lost. And that's why War 3 starts with the humans and the Alliance sort of in control but complacent. And the orcs kind of lame and off to the side and in jail. Gul'dan screwed them over. Stupid Gul'dan. So you guys know the canon for Warcraft better than I do. This is what I'm hoping Microsoft will do. Tear them apart. Pull all the Activision people out. Fire all the middle managers. They're no longer necessary at Microsoft. That's something that I think that Microsoft has done in the past when they purchase a company, is they'll get rid of middle management, which could be a good thing, but we'll see what happens. We're waiting for Kotick to be ousted and for the Microsoft deal to go through. Do you do any tabletop wargaming? I played a lot of tabletop RPGs, but I haven't in a long time. And in terms of wargaming, like Warhammer kind of stuff, not so much. It's something I was always interested in, but could never really... either I didn't have the budget to do it, or I didn't have the people to play with. And right now I don't have the people to play with. Though there are some board game people here, but they're predominantly interested in board games, like board games. So Gloomhaven is probably the closest I'll get to that. Bridging Warcraft Adventures into Warcraft 3 was brilliant, nonetheless, with that prologue. Yeah, I thought Warcraft Adventures was good story-wise. Most of it's covered in the book, Lord of the Clans, I believe it's called. How are the races picked in TBC? Why weren't Elves available at launch? Why pick the Janai? Blood Elves? What? I don't know. Again, I left before original WoW Classic shipped. Before the original WoW shipped. So I don't know anything about the Burning Crusade. All those decisions were made long after I was gone. In Warcraft 3, orcs be singing the Jailhouse Rock. Yes. How top heavy was Blizzard during your time? In terms of management, very light. Very, very light in management. All of the top level executives were still working. Like even Mike Morhaime himself, who was, effectively the top of the studio, still did coding on occasion. So Blizzard itself was extremely streamlined in terms of there was no dead weight or people who were just middle management. Like, there were producers, but the producers actually did stuff and made things happen. So it's not like they were the bullshit kind of middle management where they go around and going, did you fill out that TPS report? You know, that kind of shit. Activision is the point, though. Call of Duty is 99% of the reason. Yeah, but that's a separate studio, so it has nothing to do with Blizzard. There's no reason to have middle management over Blizzard. They can keep all of Activision, but that's a separate studio. What they need to do is get rid of all the middle management from Activision that is currently in place on top of Blizzard and is sitting on their neck, putting a knee on their... Anyways, you know what I'm getting at. Yeah. You didn't go to bed yet? All right, I'll see you tomorrow then. Go to bed. The fuck. Originally, Blizzard was going to have the Blood Elves begrudgingly join the Alliance, but demand in China for a pretty race in the Horde, and the insistence from one of the devs landed Blood Elves red. That makes sense, but I don't know. Do you remember your favorite Warcraft 3 custom map and favorite unit model? No. No, I don't. What was my favorite custom map? Oh, it was one of the early arena ones where like everyone had a hero. It was just heroes fighting. I enjoyed that one. For the outtakes that played over the Warcraft 3 credits, were those all done by one person or did everyone contribute something fun? It was all done by Alan Dilling. And Sammy and the other artists contributed stuff here and there. But it was predominantly Alan Dilling and whatever artists he worked with him on it. But I know that he was the main one. In fact, were it not for Alan Dilling and Sammy, I don't think there would have been a Warcraft 3 credits kind of thing. Fell, is there a source? Not doubting, just curious. What is the source of the Fell? I have no idea. I don't think that was determined at that time. Maybe it's the Shadowlands. No, it's not. Also, they put Blood Elves in the Horde to try to fix the faction balance, which at the time was heavily in favor of the Alliance. It was, but I thought that was always a cool thing about Warcraft, or World of Warcraft, was that there were more people playing Alliance, but the Horde was always more hardcore players. So, Alliance would like do raids and stuff, but the Horde would always win in the races to get to the end goals, and they would always win in PvP because every Horde player was far more hardcore than the Alliance was. Checking myself with that analogy. Yeah. Dota and Warcraft 3 was pretty lit. It was, but it sort of came after my time, or at least the good versions did. Warcraft 3 shaped my early gaming days. These Q&As you do are super cool and really appreciate them. Take it easy. Oh, well, good to hear. Happy to answer any questions anyone has. I think that the more honest and open I can be about game development, the more people will have their eyes open before they take the leap and potentially get destroyed. All right. I think I've tested everything I need to test. I see there's some stuff I need to fix in Stream Elements, but that's going to be boring, so I'm not going to bore you with that crap. And I will see you tomorrow around the same time. I intend to stream for an hour, but we'll see what happens. The video that I've been trailing along is just going to push right into this live stream. It's actually just my logo. So it's like a 10-second video. I don't know how people are going to react to that, because maybe some of them won't go on to the live stream, but we'll see what happens. Anyways, let me try this end transition and see how that works. Any advice for an indie studio working in a Diablo-like RPG? Pay attention to what the people are saying while they're playing, but don't ever make hardcore decisions based on their solutions. Always look for your own solutions internally, because sometimes they are pointing out a problem, but they don't know what the underlying real problem is. And so you have to be very careful about that. I took the leap and currently getting destroyed. Stay dangerous. All right, let me try this again. That didn't work either. Wow, that's irritating. How about, what does this do? Okay. No. Oh, it won't do it because I have transitions on. What if I go to this mode and then do it? Boom. Ha. Eh? There we go. Okay. This and then this. Okay, I'm out. Thanks for joining me for this little test, and I'll see you all tomorrow.